I've gotten to do some pretty cool stuff so far in my career, just like many of the people up here. I'm truly humbled to be here today, though, because I can draw a straight line back to where it all started, and that's the University of Notre Dame. And I say that because I joined the Army ROTC program when I was a sophomore in college. And I really enjoyed being a member of the ROTC program because while my freshman year was great, I made a lot of friends, got to really enjoy my classes, I was not able to kind of fill that gap that I thought was missing. And ROTC helped me do that. And I vividly remember when I was a senior at Notre Dame, there was a discussion that was going on Notre Dame's campus about whether or not a campus such as ours should even have an ROTC program. Because at the end of the day, the ROTC program is a feeder into the military, and the military's job is to fight and win our nation's wars. So when I was thinking about these issues, I was really heartened by the words of Father Hesburgh, who at the time, there was a column that had come out from a Washington Post columnist who said that Notre Dame it has many, many positives, but a major negative for Notre Dame is that they have this ROTC program. And Father Hesburgh said, now hold on, the ROTC program is one of the best things that we do at Notre Dame. We are able to Christianize the military. We're able to bring in values, ethics, and Christian philosophy to our military. What a wonderful thing. So going forward with that, I made sure that I would always keep those words from Father Hesburgh with me as I tried to move on to win our nation's wars, absolutely, but do it in the most humane way possible. And so with that, my story began. While also at Notre Dame, there was another lesson that I learned, and that was the value of understanding foreign cultures. And for me, the way to understand foreign cultures is on their terms and not on our terms. And the way that I chose to do that, and I try to do that every day, is through foreign language study. And I got the opportunity when I was at Notre Dame to study in Cairo, in Egypt, known as the beating heart of the Arab world, a country of 80 million people. And this was in 2009, before the Egyptian Revolution. I had an amazing experience. I got to travel abroad also to Israel, Jerusalem, the West Bank, Jordan. I had a lot of great experiences, which were very valuable and very helpful to me going into the military, but also more so on a personal level, just to understand these foreign cultures. It's not about the way I think and the way my family thinks. I mean, that's important, but if I'm going to be deployed in these other countries, I need to understand how the people of these countries think. So with that, I graduated Notre Dame in 2011. And I thought, okay, I have a couple of months until my time in active duty starts. So what can I do? So I signed up for a position to go teach English over in Egypt, teaching Coptic Christian orphans English. But unfortunately, earlier that year, just before graduation, the Egyptian Revolution happened, and it became very, very dangerous to go to Egypt. So after a lot of begging from my mom, and my grandparents are in the audience, they know how tough my mom can be on some of these issues when she gets her mind on it. She said, hey, can't go. So I finally relented and I say, okay, I won't go to Egypt. All right. So I was looking for some other opportunities of what to do. And an opportunity came up to go to South Africa, to a really rural village called Kenzibe. There was an organization called 2540, which was dedicated to helping AIDS orphans deal with education and trying to bring a number of things to their lives that they don't currently have. So I immediately signed up without knowing anything about Nelson Mandela's Rainbow Nation, and I figured I would go and try to immerse myself and understand how the people there did things, and hopefully I could help them a little bit. So I spent the next 3 months in South Africa working with people from the Xhosa tribe, where Nelson Mandela is from, also with the Afrikaans, the white South African family that I lived with as well there, seeing both sides of in a country that has a lot of different types of people, a lot of different ethnic groups, religions, political systems, etc., tribes. It was very, very useful for me, and something, again, that I reflected on was important at Notre Dame, and I tried to bring that into the military. So when I joined the military, my first job actually took me back to Notre Dame, which was wonderful. But then I started getting moved around, and so I went to Colorado, and I went to Florida, I went to these various places. And in that time, in my 8 years of service, I have deployed twice to the Middle East. And while I was deployed, I really found the way to influence our campaign to defeat the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria by understanding some of the cultural and religious underpinnings for why they do what they do and why they claim some of the things that they do. So I was able to advise senior leaders in the campaign every day, which ultimately, I believe, made our men and women on the ground in Iraq and Syria safer, as well as our partner forces safer, as they retook village by village, city by city, until Mosul and Raqqa, the two largest cities that ISIS controlled, were liberated. And ultimately, we've since liberated the rest of the territory that ISIS controlled. That's something that's very, very important to me. And again, it's understanding that cultural underpinning of why are our enemies and our adversaries doing the things that they do, and how can we defeat them to build a better world and a better society for all of our people. And just recently, I'm very humbled to say that I have gotten a scholarship called the Olmsted Scholarship. And this scholarship is going to bring me to the Middle East, again, where I can continue to learn about the Middle East, which is very important to me, because I think that if we have a stable Middle East and stable societies, that'll protect our people at home in America. So this scholarship is great because it allows Army officers and officers from throughout the joint services to learn a language and then go get a master's degree in a foreign country that they're chosen for. So right now I'm living out in Monterey, California with my wife Maddie, who's in attendance, learning Hebrew, intensive Hebrew. We'll be moving to Jerusalem, Israel next year, and I'll be getting a master's degree from the Hebrew University of Israel. And hopefully this will allow me to better understand the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as well as the regional dynamics throughout that part of the world. So again, I'm very humbled, and I know that we face a lot of problems, and we've touched on a lot of problems here today, but when it comes to foreign policy and national security, I certainly want to be a part of that solution. So thank you very much, and it was great talking to you today.